Hello, my name is Emily De Silva. I'm the editor of Hotelier Middle East, and this is our roundtable with SAWA Technologies.
Hi, I'm Matt Cooper. I'm the general manager of 3 IHG properties here in Dubai, Staybridge Suites, Dubai Internet City, Staybridge Suites Financial Centre, and the Holiday Inn and Suites Dubai Al Barsha, which will open in Q1 next year.
Hi, I'm Daniel Kingston. I'm the general manager of SAWA Uptown Dubai.
My name is Suhail Zaroub, and I'm the CEO of SAWA Technologies.
Hi, my name is Etisalat. I'm the general manager of Me by Milliam in Business Bay, designed by Zaha Hadid.
Hi, my name is Mahmoud Ahmed. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Media One Hotel.
Good day, I'm Florian from Nama Beach Villas and Spa. I'm the resort manager. I came all the way from Fujairah. Thank you very much.
So to begin with, how would you say guest demand and guest expectations have changed over the last 5 years in terms of in-room entertainment?
Okay, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll all agree that the guest journey's changed quite a lot. There used to be a time when the guest was really focused about what TV channels we had, and we were talking about this earlier about what sort of premium package are we buying, what channels do we have. But what we've realised, I think the fundamentals of hotels stay the same. People need cleanliness, they need comfort, they need security, but now they're looking for connectivity. So guests want to enjoy the same entertainment that they can enjoy at home. So streaming has become pretty big. I think we're still not in a position where we can remove TV channels completely, but certainly guests being able to connect their devices has become very important for them.
Yeah, nice.
Yes, definitely. And one of the main demand that I've seen lately in this market is the costing. Costing, you know, your own content that you watch at home. So now it's more and more in demand that when you're traveling, you want to see that same content. You're following up on a series, for instance, and you just want to, you travel and you want to continue with that same series. So we're seeing more and more demand for Chromecasting, AirPlay, stuff like that.
And at Me Dubai, we really focus a lot on the experience in the room. So casting is one of the feature we have, but even we took it to another step where from also you can do everything with the GRMS from your bed. So if it's from your app, we connect, you can connect to your app, or from the TV, you can order food, you can. If somebody rings the bell, you have a camera, you check who is outside. You could turn out the light, the curtains, everything from your bed. You can do whatever you need.
And I think depending how your resort or hotel is set up, we are now a resort in Fujairah, so it's less in regards of digital connection and it's more really about the physical interaction and experiences. But nevertheless, we do offer there on this regards a smart panel where you can control everything. And for anything else, we don't have an app, we have a butler, and you just ask for the butler. That's nice.
At Media One, we are taking a little bit different approach. What we are doing is basically we think more about filling our restaurants. So we do not want people to be sitting in the rooms all the time watching movies. But we are definitely making use of TVs in a different way. Like for an example, all the services, what you have just now mentioned, casting and all that stuff. And what we have noticed is people are watching channels less and less.
Do you find any challenges or are there any frustrations when you're implementing these sort of new technologies like Chromecasting and things like that? Any common challenges that you find from guests?
There has been always. See, when you implement any kind of new technology, or I wouldn't say it's new, but anything new in the hotel, there will be certain challenges here and there. But it's all welcomed by the guests because casting is now the basic feature which everyone wants, and they do carry the entire entertainment set in their mobile phone, and that's what they want to carry everywhere. If they are watching certain series, they want to continue watching it on their TV as well when they come to the hotel. And yeah, that's where our entire focus is, rather than on channels. So what we recently did with our in guest room entertainment system is that our entertainment system is checking the channels, how much people are watching. So there are statistics at the back, what channels people are watching, how many hours they are watching, and all those things. So these are some insights which helped us to make all these decisions. So there were some channels which we were not making use of. I mean, no one was watching, and what's the use of that kind of subscription if no one is watching? Yeah, so these insights are actually helping, and we are moving towards more and more displaying digital content on the TV. Yeah.
And challenges we face that, of course, now the in-villa introduction takes a little bit longer, and then challenges occur once a system is failing. Yeah. One of the best ideas I have seen was unfortunately not our idea, but I've seen it with a competitor. You could scan the room with your mobile phone, devices you were not aware of how they work. It directly gave you the option to press on the device, and then it has a quick brief introduction of the manual of the device. And I think this was a very smart move. Unfortunately, yes, not with us.
Cost. I think the challenge is the cost, because it comes with a cost as well.
It does, yeah.
I think for me, we have to be careful. You're not doing something that sounds cool. We years ago, we opened a hotel here in Dubai, and the whole check-in process was through iPad device. We thought that was cool. Guest comes in, they sit down, but it took 5, 6, 7 minutes to get the guests to the room, and they didn't want that. So we were making a decision that we felt was cool. Hey, this is something different. No other hotel was offering it at the time. And all we did was frustrate the guest, and we had to go back to your typical check-in through the front desk. So I think it's just important that the technology that you identify adds value to the guest experience. That's where we found that sometimes it can be frustrating. Nowadays with casting, if it doesn't work and the internet drops out, the first person we call obviously is the IT manager and say help, because we're so reliant on it. And yeah, that's probably a common frustration, is when the systems drop, right? And they cut cables in the Red Sea or something, right? So, and you can't stream the channels. So it adds another layer.
Spoken like a true GM.
We call someone.
Yeah, the other thing about casting as well is now that the TV manufacturers are even building in the casting within their systems. So the new LGs and the new Samsung hospitality TVs, the special TVs for hotels. Okay, it's built in.
Yeah.
So, and this is a major cost actually.
So they don't steal it.
Yes, exactly. So you don't, and it's a lot easier to connect through that, but it's costly also. Because you have to change your TVs, you have to change to. So,
but to your point, we're less reliant on individual devices, right? From set-top boxes and from Chromecasts. You know, this is where we'd have to visit the room. Now we can run updates centrally,
Yes.
and I think that's much better for the guest, right? If there is an issue, we can fix it remotely. We don't need to go in and invade their privacy.
Definitely. It was quite actually a challenge, because with casting, sometimes you would cast into another room, you know, you're watching your thing and it would go. So it was problematic, you know, unless you know what you're doing really, technically. So and with these new TVs now and the new softwares, yeah, it's quite good, but it's costly.
And plus, also now it has become, as you mentioned, it has become a complete revenue center right now. It's not just a TV, because you are placing orders from room service, asking for amenities. That's huge. Actually, we did the similar at our hotel also. And what we have noticed is the room service orders have increased more, because the reason is now everyone's mentality is that if they want something, they want it now. They don't want to call someone and do something. If they are watching movies, suddenly a pop-up comes from a marketing team on the TV that, you know, there is a burger getting ready right now, hot burger, something like that, you know, some term. And then it entices them and they just one click and order. That's how we are setting it up. So you don't have to go to multiple screens and put all the details, because it's too much of a hassle. And that's why Apple and other members, other competitors have made it. If you want to purchase an app on your iPhone, it's just one double click and that's it, you purchase. So you have to make purchases as easy as possible, and that's what the TV is doing right now. We did for the amenities, and you won't believe we have saved thousands of calls. So earlier our operator used to get so many calls because just picking up, because of this great sustainability initiative which we started, where you have to refill the glass water bottles, right? It's a pain. But the thing is, now because we have given this kind of facility for the guests, just going to the TV and just ordering to refill the water, it has saved so many calls to the operator, and now they are getting less and less calls, because guests, all they need is, can you please send me the water? Hang up, and that's it. But that's a call. and it can be, if it can be done without the conversation, because over there I don't think any human touch is required as such, because all they need is water or sometimes dental kit or something like that. So that's actually helping us a lot with the improvement.
And you have more accuracy.
Yes.
Because whoever is on the other side, maybe they didn't understand exactly what the guest, so you have accuracy and it's timed as well.
But I also believe it's not only generating revenue, but it also opens you the door for the human touch. No, I believe all of you have a great offering in terms of F&B, in terms of experiences, in terms of restaurants, in terms of minibar, wedding offerings, packages, but giving it all at once to the guest upon arrival who wants to relax or who is for a stressful business meeting in town or in Fujairah. Yeah, I think this will be a full overflow of communication, and then all of a sudden the guest is already annoyed with the overflow and doesn't pick anything just to have his life easier. And there I think it's as well as such systems open for us the door to the guest, because they can scroll through it whenever they want. Oh yeah, they offer this. Let's have a look. Give the butler a call, give the reception a call, or let's get in touch with your host. Yeah.
I think look, one of the sort of the fears that we have when you ask about challenges is that, you know, not every customer's the same, right? And everybody's looking for a different level of engagement. So we're talking about engaging with the customer through an in-room device. And how can we save some time? How can we release operational costs? And we, you know, when we look at ROI, obviously there's the value adds and there's adding revenue, but there's also saving cost. But one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to completely remove the human interaction. And I think when we look at our guests at Staybridge Suites, you know, we promote that that you come and become part of our community, and we welcome people to our community, and that needs human touch. But not every guest wants that. You know, they will choose a hotel not just because of the brand, sometimes because of location. People also have very different days, right? Sometimes you don't want to come home and have a conversation with someone in the lobby. So that enables people to interact with our team through clicking on the TV or using their device. But one thing that we're really conscious about is we've got to keep the engagement going with our customers, so we can ensure that we're still adding to their stay in a personal manner. And sometimes people want to speak to a human being, right? I think we've all had that when you pick up a phone and you speak to a machine, and sometimes people want that human interaction. So I think really important for us is just finding the balance.
You also need to be careful, you know, when you're ordering food, for instance, in a room, and your kid orders 10 pizzas, you know, you're just, yeah, you know, so it's, how do you control that, right? I mean, you need some human interaction, right?
Mm-hmm. So I think someone mentioned earlier about the personalization or tailoring the sort of offerings on the in-room entertainment to your guests. How would you say, how do you protect your data, your guests' data?
Well, very difficult question, but it's all a circle of in-house information and data policy there. Certainly you have, depending as well on the level of service you want to provide, some guests might even be confused that you have so much data on hand. Yeah, I worked, before being in NAMA, I worked with very big international hotel brands, and their communication in regards of the guests across the globe is just on point. Yeah. Before you arrive to the hotel, the international high-end brands, they know already what is your favorite dish, what is your favorite drink, which wine did you like when you stayed in Paris. Yeah, so this is already, this all comes to the extent, what is the vision of the property? Should you keep too much data? For sure not. Should you always protect the data of any guests, but as well of the hotel and employees at all costs? 100% as well. So I think the UAE laws and regulations are there very much on point and very strict on such as well. But it's up to us and our IT department and the management, the ownership to really gatekeep such information flow.
Another aspect of this is also if they're using their own devices, and when they've actually registered, let's say you buy a Samsung, you buy an iPhone, and you agree to the terms and conditions, you're actually providing, you know, you're allowing them to share your data in many cases. So there's this aspect. So it depends on the device you're using as well, in terms of legality. Yeah. So if he's ordering, let's say, the food over his you know, his mobile phone, you know, he's already allowed them when he agreed to the terms and conditions of the you know, manufacturer. So there's a lot of that as well you need to be aware of. So it's not only the hotels.
I think from IHG's standpoint, obviously data collection, you know, I think it's all about transparency first. We've got to let the customer know, look, this is the data that we want to collect from you. This is the why, and this is how it will impact your stay. And I think if customers understand that it's going to make their stay better and their experience better, then customers are okay. But it's also limitation. I think when we talk about collecting data, we only need to collect what's going to impact that customer's stay. There's no point in just collecting massive amount of data. And certainly we don't see that in our hotels. And then there's, of course, there's limitation on who can access the data. You know, typically when a guest checks in, they give their name, they give you know, their email address, their phone number. We take a passport scan. We're not using that data. The data that we're sort of talking about today, or the data that we want to collect to make a difference to their stay, is kind of around, you know, what are their patterns, what are their kind of movements, you know, what are their preferences, and then it helps us to personalize the stay on their next visit.
But it also, that's why technology takes a long time to roll out in hotels, right? You know, for us, you know, it has to go through corporate. That's 6 to 12 months testing, making sure from a privacy standpoint. So it's not that we have an idea today and think it'd be great. If it's going to impact things like that, it has to go through the right channels. I think it's also changed a lot. We can find a lot out about our guests just through social channels as well, right? If you're looking at personalizing guest experiences, so it's to Matt's point, it's what's overstepping the mark, what should you not be maybe trying to, you know, welcoming a guest and it's his mistress, not his wife, could get you in trouble, right? So, you know, you have to be very, very sensitive, you know, put up the wrong pictures in the room, you'll be, you know, we're having a different conversation. But I think, you know, it's changed a lot what is available for hotels to sort of access honest guests. It's a bit like going for interviews, you know, anything you post now is pretty much, we're lucky from a generation where we've forgotten about, our pictures are lost, but it is there. And I think that's where you kind of have to find that balance. But privacy, absolutely, that's a whole nother story with the whole.
Unlike any industry, even hospitality has evolved, as you mentioned. We used to collect very critical data in past. Even now, that's passport. Those are the main data which we are collecting. What we are talking about right now is general data about likes and dislikes, and it's already guests are sharing with social media and number of apps across anyhow. And if you already have the foundation in place in the hotel, that how you are giving access to the critical data already, I think it can build on the same foundation who should have access to the data. And not many people has access to this data. I mean, what you collect about likes and dislikes, because no department touches that data except the data analyst, or maybe at certain time general manager will look at those data and decide on something, some facts, some new policies or something like that. But so it's very limited access to that data, and I think it's safe to say that it can be stored securely. Also what they are doing in-house. What's important is even for the casting or any kind of signups which is happening in the TVs, you know, as soon the guest checks out, Opera has this, that it wipes out everything. Yeah. And those are something very important, and there has to be some critical checks to be in place, that whether it's happening, because one glitch and then someone will start watching another series on their account. Yeah. So yeah, that's happening.
That's happened. That's happened to me before.
No, that's what I'm saying. Right?
Yeah.
And also you need to, depends your company where is coming from. For example, Melia is Spanish, so we also comply to the GDPR, the European compliances. So you have the UAE, but also on top we apply the GDPR, and of course everything is controlled from the head office. So we have very little room to work. So the database is really safeguarded. Yeah.
In terms of the channels that you offer when you have an entertainment system, how do you balance sort of offering global channels as well as local regional preferences? Like, how do you consider that?
Yeah, it's not easy in a city like Dubai, right? I think because obviously we have people from all over the world, but I think one of the biggest benefits of these new in-room entertainment systems is the language change, right? We can't speak every language. And again, it's not about, we've got to be very careful around stereotyping guests, right? It's, we've got to understand, and we do this at the check-in process, to understand what's their preferred language of communication. We can customize that to the room. So we don't stereotype, but we have to ask. But that's really important because we can now communicate efficiently. That makes the guests feel more comfortable and more at home. It's interesting, you were talking about TV channels earlier, right, before this. And we've never really got it right as hotels because we pay a lot of money for the channels, as you know. And to have a stream of channels, and I don't think it's good enough to have one English channel, one Russian channel, one Chinese channel. You offer a spectrum, but it's how do we meet every guest's requirements? And we talk about data, we're trying to pick up trends all the time, and we're trying to see what people are using and see what they're selecting. We're trying to learn from that, but everyone's different. And we need to make everybody feel as comfortable as the guest who came in before them. So, yeah, I don't think we've mastered it.
We removed them one year. I had a hotel a few years back and decided the cost of the channels, and I thought everyone's streaming, I'll just get rid of TV channels. And I did that. And then, we got a lot of backlash from the guests. There was an expectation, like, where are your TV channels? Well, we've got the free ones there. They should be okay. Can't you just stream, Netflix and what have you? But it did create a lot of angst. Maybe we were just very ahead of our time. But so I'm always very dubious or cautious before we make a decision like that.
Yeah, there are new solutions now for such, because especially there's what we call fast TV, which is free ad-supported TVs. And this basically, you can have TV channels that are free and they're ad-supported on streaming, I'm talking. When you say, and it could be also beneficial and another revenue stream for the hotels, because you can even share in the advertising part. You get a share out of the advertising, but this is still in its infancy with hotels, residential.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it always will be a challenge if it is in-room entertainment, if it is your F&B offering, if it is the experience offering, banquet offering. You always need to find the mid-ground, because as you mentioned, if you cut down the entire TV because nobody's using it, you might be statistically right. But then, of course, once you don't offer it, it's requested. Plus, with the streaming devices, you can't have them all. Yeah, so you source the top 3. But then all of a sudden there might be the comment, why you don't have this streaming device, because this is what I'm using. So it's for us always very difficult to balance the act in between what is sufficient and what is not sufficient, how much can I cut and how much should I be offering.
So channel offerings, I think no hotel have mastered it, to be honest. There is always one unhappy guest in the hotel who says my channel is not there. And it's unfortunate that there is some lengthy process involved in getting those channels, but I think we should, we should be reaching to a stage where the subscription of channels should be just click, subscribe, and that's it. It should be activated. Depending on number of hours we have used, it should charge. That's what I see it should happen in future. Only then we will be able to solve all those challenges. You have a guest who is staying for 2 nights, but he's going to make a lot of noise because we are not offering his favorite channel. Imagine having this kind of service where you just subscribe immediately and it's out right there. And when he checks out, I have unsubscribed to that and I have paid whatever charges I wanted to pay. It definitely, it will be less than the recovery of that unhappy guest who's going to make noise out on the TripAdvisor, Booking.com, anywhere, right? Yeah, I think that should happen in future.
It should happen, yes, definitely.
Or
and
no
I think,
TV, maybe.
Yeah, no, it will. Yes, it will happen. It will happen eventually.
Amman has no TV in their rooms, the Amman Group. It's completely to disconnect.
They don't
Why
have
not?
TVs.
No, doesn't
Okay,
exist.
all right,
Furniture
yeah,
pointing to them.
Maybe. That's the future.
So I think we mentioned earlier about the cost of things. I wanted to ask, how would you quantify guest satisfaction and how would you measure the return on investment when you're choosing an entertainment system?
Well, sorry. I think with the new systems implemented and tools are available on hand, you can't directly take the ROI per step you're doing. I think it's overall the workflow efficiency and overall the return of guest percentage and the experiences. Because first and foremost, at our place, we try to allow with such tools the team members to have more time to really care about the guests And we try to strive with genuine care for the guests. And this is generated with tools, with AI, with modern technology within the resort, where this doesn't become the main character of the entire stay. It's always the human interaction, because as you mentioned, some brands already moving away from Wi-Fi in the hotels. Some brands are moving away from entertainment, digital entertainment in the room, and more luxury and ultra luxury resorts go in their direction, where they detox from social media, they detox from internet, they detox from any influence which the human brain is not or should not be having so much input over a week, which is supposed to reflect the input 50 years ago of 10 years. So yeah, it's getting interesting there. And this term in regarding ROI, I think it's difficult to measure in terms of guest satisfaction directly. How much money did I get back for this action? But if you look at housekeeping, purchasing, and other items, there it's more measurable.
I think some of the statistics which in-room entertainment guys can give to the hotels is just to add to that how long TV is being switched on or being active in use. Those are the statistics which can gauge the ROI, I would say indirectly, but something like that. Because previously you used to have a certain percentage of a usage during the stay, but now the usage have increased. It means guests are liking it. So all these data points, it's important to have the integration with and the access to this information to IT leaders and whoever is running the show. I think those are the places where we can look for ROI for this.
Well, we know the challenges our guests are facing, and generally, right? We have you have your monthly review meetings, if not more. You have your statistics of what the challenges are at the hotel. So I think often does the solution address, those problems? Will it help fix it? Will it make it better? So you can kind of measure it for a true return. Yes, it can be hard. If I spend X amount, am I going to get this back? That's probably trickier. It depends what sort of solution I guess you're looking for. If you're trying to drive bookings to your venues, yes, you could measure it, right? Because you'll see the increase in spend. But then on the flip side, does it address that concern or challenge that we're facing in the property? And if it does, then yes, you'll explore it. So yeah, there's different ways of looking at it.
I think that's a good point. I think there are tools that you can use this for. So for example, if you're picking up guest patterns of behavior through the data, that could help you look at energy costs, for example, and how to manage your energy more efficiently depending on room usage. It could be that you want to drive more loyalty. So again, you can advertise, you can promote your loyalty program for your brand on the screen itself. You can encourage anyone who's maybe booked for a third party to then rebook directly with the hotel by becoming a loyalty member. So I think you're right. I think there are very tangible ROIs, which is, are they ordering food and beverage, or even operational release, right? Is our call center now receiving less calls? Do I need less manning? Can I change the hours of the call center? But I think there were maybe some which we got to look a little bit harder for, which is, can we reduce or can we manage our energy spend a little bit better? Can we enroll more customers to make sure that we've got a direct booking for the future? So I think ROI has to be measured across a spectrum of in different ways. But I think when we look at hours, I think there has been some very clear. You mentioned earlier that by enabling people to order food and beverage via the TV, you saw a big increase in sales, right? And I think,
just to add on that point, that what we found it strange is we also have a mobile app available, which is available in their hands number of hours more than TV, but the orders usually come only from TV only, the highest number of orders. So that's something which says that people are using the TV as well. Yeah.
And maybe that is a guest pattern. You have a busy day at work, you come home, you don't necessarily want to speak to someone. You might feel like you're being sold to if you've got someone really good on the end of the phone trying to upsell you. So that way you can select what you want. It's quiet, it's seamless, and that food just gets delivered. So maybe that's why.
We even saw an increase in the average check rate and for the room service from the digital versus calling. So the average, yes, they order more actually.
Guests takes their own time to order food, so they might end up adding more, I guess. That's how things work, I guess.
let's talk about the future. I think we're getting to the end of the conversation, so let's look to the future. How do you think emerging technologies are changing or going to change in-room entertainment systems? Yeah, moving forward. Matt, do you want to
All
go
right,
first?
yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, lovely.
Raring to go there.
Well, I think, you know, I remember conversations in our industry 10 years ago where there were hotels trying to introduce the sort of the contactless check-in, right? So you could now check in via your app, you could walk straight past reception, your phone is a key and you go straight into the room. And I think there are brands, and there are certainly customers that those brands tailor to, that really want that, right? They want that frictionless service. They don't need to communicate and talk to people, and I think there will always be a market for that. I think when we look at most of our hotels, or certainly the ones I've worked in Dubai, and if I look at my hotels, people want that human engagement. So I know there's been lots of conversations throughout different industries about, can we replace people with AI? Can we replace people with technology? I think, you know, like I mentioned earlier, every customer's different. Every customer's looking for something different, and the bit that we've got to nail is, how do we efficiently tailor to every customer to ensure that not only are we driving their experience in the hotel, but we're also connecting with them, because that's how we build loyalty. And I think loyalty in a city like Dubai is the most important thing we can build, because there are competitors everywhere, and it's all about driving loyalty, which I think comes from trust, but it also comes from meeting a customer's expectations.
It also has to do with generations, right? I mean, the younger generation would be more inclined to have, you know, I mean, you're talking about the human touch, you know.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's for maybe the older generation a bit more important, you know. So that's.
Yeah, now I'm feeling like the older generation. So yeah, but I do. I still, you know, I still like to pick up the phone. I like a check-in experience. You know, I think even when I fly with airlines, you know, I like to go to the desk. Maybe that's the hope of an upgrade. I don't know, which I'm sure most of our guests in hotels are looking for the same. But you know, I'm someone who really looks for the human engagement and the contact, and that's something that we really push through our hotels. But you're absolutely right. I think the future is, I think we've got to give people the choice. And I think that's probably where we'll settle on, is efficiently managing our workforce to make sure that we've got the right number of people to meet the expectations of those who want engagement. But we can also look for opportunities to save on cost and be more efficient by appealing to those who perhaps don't need the engagement and looking to use technology instead.
I think in hospitality, since it's a service industry, we deliver service from the heart, and that's the most important, I believe. And that's why the guests come back, because how you make him feel is not because he used the latest technology in the room. So coming back to this, it's very important to, the technology will make us more productive, but we should not lose the heart part, the emotion part. It's very important to give this genuine, that you are saying, the genuine experience. For example, every morning for breakfast, I go and see my guests in the breakfast room. That's the best time to reconnect with them, and everyone wants to talk, and especially after COVID. Everyone wants attention, everyone wants to speak and to have this interaction, this human interaction. Yes, the technology is great because we're more productive. We do things faster than before, to organize things as well, but the human touch will always be here.
Yeah, it needs to, look, I think it's using it to support the business. I think there's certain activities that will help, and then it frees your staff up to be more engaging with the guest. You know, I think how frustrated I get when I try and call a bank and it's all automated and you just want to speak to someone, and it's so frustrating. And you know, that's a bank, not a hotel. So I think it's using it to enhance the guest experience. So freeing your team up so that they can be more visible and more present, I think is critical, because you think about the whole check-in process. There's so many different systems between what we have, the poor agents have to do. So if you can take that away and then they're there just to take care of their guests, it's a much better experience for our guests. So I think it's using technology for that. I sometimes feel my kids have replaced their father with technology. So I hope it doesn't happen with general managers. You know, that would be terrible. But no, I think it's taking those tools and efficiencies to your point, right? It's making it more efficient so the guests can experience more personal service with the team.
I think one of the futuristic things which is happening in the, I mean, which should happen in future is that not only the TV, there are now, you have got Apple Vision Pro also. So when we look at selling the room pricing, there are certain which general managers are always concerned about at what rate they are selling their rooms and everything. So there can be add-on also for in-room entertainment happen. See, still Apple Vision Pro is one of the futuristic device, and having that available throughout your stay, guests would be ready to pay a certain amount, right? That amount can be higher than your per night room rate also, because it's a very difficult device to get hands on and very expensive as well. But if you have that kind of add-on in for your in-room stay, it's an in-room entertainment as well at certain cost, at certain conditions, whatever it is, there has to be some policy in place. I think that's the one of the futuristic things which we can offer to the guest, and with the type of guests which are evolving now, I think after millennials, whoever is coming, I don't keep a track of, but I think they will be interested in to have.
And I think it will come about. I think, I mean, what you're talking about is basically usage-based, you know, charging. Yeah. So, and it will come out.
It is allowing them to do yoga in room. It is allowing them to do some kind of physical activity, which they do, and plus futuristic, why not? Because everything is running on the viral content nowadays. So loyalty is always best thing, definitely. Okay, no questions on that. But the surge of revenue which comes in a shorter period comes through going viral. That's what is happening nowadays. If someone shares a video of something new with me on the social media, I would definitely not think about the points which I will get somewhere else, but I would want to try out because that's my friend who is sharing this as of now. I mean, I just want to experience, and then definitely I'll go back to my loyalty place as well. That's always there, but I'm just saying to bring in. So we have to take the revenue from all kinds of sources, because everyone is trying their best, everyone is trying to give the good customer service. Every day we have morning briefings about having good rating, good score on various websites and all those and things. So this technology we should be using in a way that it brings the revenue, it keep us in the news as well.
I do think in the future how AI will develop and technology in general for the hospitality industry, you can't ignore it. That's impossible, no matter if it goes in one direction or the other. COVID shows us quite clearly that we are in an experience industry. I do believe it's more than just hospitality. It's really about creating and demanding experiences. After COVID, there was a trend that the spa went up, beverages went up, in terms of quality, not quantity. So I do think it goes into two directions, either without any human touch at all, and it's fully customized, because for people who are on business trips, it's all automated with your mobile device, with your chip in your head, with your smart glasses whatsoever, with your wristband, with your finger ring. There are already multiple chips available. And then you have the other direction where it really goes about the human touch, and there the AI and technology itself won't be the main character of the movie. It will be a useful tool in regards of training the staff, encouraging the staff, making even tailor-made trainings for the staff, then interacting with guests in advance to have a tailor-made proposition of their itinerary, food menus, and so on. So I do believe the human touch can never be taken out of in regards of certain parts of the hospitality industry, and we are all in the industry not because we wanted to become as quick as possible multimillionaires. Yeah, we are all in the industry for the passion of it, and this is what people are seeking. My travel habits change as well. It's more in regards of experiences. It's more going climbing mountains. It's all more all of a sudden experience local cultures. And I think this is the next big trend coming in the luxury hospitality.
Yeah. Great.
And I was just thinking, I think if we look at the future, I think the one thing that we probably all need to be mindful of is what we're discussing as a group here is the guest wants convenience, they want personalization, but they want to maintain privacy, and I think they want to choose how they have that personalization. I think the biggest change will be as more hotels and more hotel groups start to bring in and adopt this technology. I think it will become the norm. There was a point where there weren't TVs in hotel rooms. There was a point where there weren't telephones in hotel rooms, right? And if we're all introducing all of this technology, it's going to be the standard and it's going to be expected. And I think that's going to be the pressure on our industries to make sure that we're keeping up with the neighbours.
Very exciting stuff. Great. Well, thank you very much, everyone. This has been a really interesting conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. Thank you.
Thank you.